What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Swing for the Fences show. Hope you all are having a good Thursday. 10 games on FanDuel, 9 games on DraftKings. So FanDuel starting at 6:40 Eastern today. They are including the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays on the slate. We got some weather that we're going to have to look out for today. Looks like the Detroit game, a little risk. I think that one should be fine. The Atlanta game looks to be the biggest concern, but we're going to go and talk about it. We're going to assume it all plays because it's still a couple hours before lock. The Up to Lock show and Discord will update as it gets closer to lock if there's concern, since there is good pitchers in that Philly game. So we'll be in Discord breaking it down. We're going to talk like everything is good to go on this show, though. Joined by my two boys, Hoop and Mangone. I'll bring in Hoop first. I was talking to Mangone earlier. A lot of you probably saw our faces on the earlier show talking some NBA and NBA. Hoop, how's your Thursday going? Sweating out golf, I imagine. What's going on?
Yeah, good start so far to PGA this week. Some wild ownership numbers. I mean, we'll get into it on some other shows, but like Brian Harmon coming in at like 40%, like out of nowhere. That was pretty surprising, and he shot like 7 or 8 over. So I had a little bit of him, but way under the field, which is good. But yeah, it's been a good start so far. PGA DFS continues to be one of our stronger products over here at Rumpier Sports. And looking forward to sweating this out the rest of the way. Got MLB tonight, a couple weather spots that we'll touch on as we go along. So yeah, everything's going well on my end.
Love to hear that. We got Steve Anthony in chat saying, great show this morning, man. Your own title. We appreciate that, Steve. Always appreciate seeing you in chat. We got GQ always in here. Squid, Junior always in here. What's going on, Junior? James, baseball dad, Uzi. A lot of talk about Corbin. Some people I'd rather lick a doorknob than play Corbin, Dwayne says. Some people on Corbin. Yeah, it's an interesting slate. I'm excited to get in and talk about it. Mangone, anything new from this morning till now that we talk about? What you think of the slate? What's going on?
No, nothing new. Just a little too much Brian Harmon, but that's okay. I got some other good golfers. So golf's going okay to start off. We'll see if I can. It only takes one bullet title. That's it. So hopefully one gets through the finish line all the way to the end in first place. But not the best start for Mr. Harmon, but the rest of the golfers not too bad. Not going too bad so far. So excited to break down the MLB with you guys. And hey, we got a basketball game tonight too. We got some Golden State Warriors, Dallas Mavericks. So a lot of sports going on. Should be a fun night.
Yeah, this MLB and NBA going on this time of year. So much money to be made at night. So excited for that for sure. Beefy Layer goes, Tyler Mangone morning show, then Fortnite all day, and now this show. No, that was a couple of years ago that we were doing that, Beefy Layer. No Fortnite for me anymore. No video games in general. But maybe Mangone got in the streets a little bit in the competitive Fortnite area. Appreciate all you hanging out with those. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe for us. And I'm with you. I actually ended up under on Harmon as well. I watched the show. I look at the playbook, the cores. I build my script probably faster than pretty much anyone because they're all names on the paper to me at the end of the day. So I somehow ended up lower on Harmon. It looks good right now. But like you said, there's so much. It's day one. So I go in the Discord in golf. I don't talk too much in it, but I just get a kick out of just scrolling through on Thursday, and it makes me laugh. So I do that a lot. There's definitely some Harmon tilters out there, but it's always fun. I mean, golf's a very fun sport to sweat Thursday through Sunday. And I 150. I do that 150 in the $5 every time because you only need one. I play 30, 35 golfers, spread it out a little bit, and hope you hit the nuts with one of those golfers. So it's always fun sweating, and no MMA this week, unfortunately, but we got NASCAR, who's been absolutely printing, Coop, Natty Ice. There's always CSGO, League of Legends, so many sports we have offered. F1, you name it, we got it over at Rumpier Sports. The promo code still is up, PGA 50. Coop is feeling generous, so it's still up. I do not know how much longer it's going to be up, but it is up right now. If you do want to head over to Rumpier Sports, check it out. Let's get right into the slate, though. Like I said, 10 games on FanDuel, 9 on DraftKings. We will touch on the Yankees and the Rays game after we get to pitching. I'm pretty much approaching it as the game's not even on the slate, and FanDuel and DraftKings have the same lock times. That's how I'm approaching it. We'll see if they are different. But let's go and talk about pitcher right now. Again, we are going to assume all the games are going to play just fine. There is some weather to talk about, though, or weather to look at, mainly the Atlanta and Philly game. If stuff changes, if we get scared of it, it looks like it's going to delay or it's going to be postponed, something like that, we'll let everyone know in Discord and the Up to Lock show. DC is on it, and that is our meteorologist. So we're going to go approach it like everyone's playing. Let's start Let's go 10-1. Eric Lauer, a top price pitcher on DraftKings. And let's go to Shohei Ohtani at 8.7K. We got like 7-8 guys in that range. I'll start with you, Hoop. 10-1 Lauer, 8-7 Ohtani. Talk about that top range.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few guys that are in play here to some degree. I mean, I'll start at the bottom with Ohtani, who I like quite a bit. I mean, the matchup's not the greatest against Toronto, but with Ohtani, I mean, it's more for the strikeout upside. I mean, do I expect him to give up some runs to Toronto? Yeah, probably a couple runs, but he can easily make up for those runs with the high strikeouts. He's, the cheapest stud pitcher, I think, on the slate at 8-7. So I'm certainly interested in him. This ballpark obviously favors pitcher. So at 8-7, Ohtani, I think, is clearly in the conversation. Then you got Montas at 9K flat. And it's been like super up and down. Like when you look at his results, 25 fantasy points, 7, 25, 8, 37. So 30 and 7 fantasy.
He did get hurt last game. I will.
And he got hurt last game. Yeah. So, tonight's a night that he's on the right end of that. So I do like him though either way. It's a good ballpark for pitching here in Oakland, facing a Texas team that I'm not very afraid of. And then Nola is a guy we kind of have to wait on this weather. It's looking somewhat iffy right now, somewhat risky. Still over 2 hours away from this game starting. But if we get the full, clean bill of weather here and we can go with it, then he's fine. And like you said, DC will be covering up to lock. Discord will have it covered as well. But he's fine too. So those three, I think, are my favorites up here: Ohtani, Montas, and then Nola. Skubal has been pitching very well. I think a pretty decent matchup against Cleveland. But again, this is the other weather game that we're kind of waiting on. And it looks like it's supposed to rain. I'm 35 minutes away from the stadium. It's fine right now. I mean, it's relatively sunny out, but it looks like that could change at some point. And then Lauer, I don't know, like he's been pitching well, but 10-1, I don't think I necessarily want to pay 10-1 for him. Now, if we lose a couple of these guys, if we lose Nola, if we lose Skubal, then Lauer is a guy that I would probably bring into my player pool. But honestly, I'm good with Ohtani at 8-7 and Montas at 9K in this upper range, if we can't play a guy like Aaron Nola. So it's a pretty loaded range, I'd say, for a 9-game slate.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have boots in the ground in Detroit, so hoops there. That is nice to see as always. I agree with you on Lauer. 10-1. I mean, man, he's the most expensive pitcher on the slate. I think his strikeouts as of late, I think he's overachieving a bit, and he gets a tough matchup against St. Louis, who doesn't strike out much. So I probably won't have too much Lauer either. And yeah, it's funny you bring up the Frankie Montas. Good game, bad game, good game, bad game. It's like MMA. Some people are win-loss, 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 and it just goes on and on. So yeah, well, hopefully I like Frankie today, and he's one of the pitchers. There is no weather concern. So if Nola gets sketchy, if Skubal gets sketchy, I do like both of them if it's fine. But if they get sketchy, Montas, the Ohtanis, the ownership's definitely going to get even higher because of that. Mangone, go to you. Same range, 10-1 Lauer, 8-7 Ohtani. What you got?
Yeah, so Ohtani obviously at 8-7, it feels like a really good price tag for him, but he is going up against Toronto. Now, Toronto's lineup, that always depends. I talked a lot of crap about the Toronto lineup the other day, and like that bottom of the order is not really that great typically. Let's see is their lineup out yet already? Because I want to see. Sometimes the lineup's good, and like sometimes just like really trash down low.
Not yet.
Not yet?
Nope.
All right, so we're still waiting on that. So let's wait and see with that lineup. I think that matters. But one thing about Ohtani is he is only 8-7, and he's going to come in chalk here. And I don't know, Ohtani does feel like one of those SPs that he can kind of dud at times at like high ownership. And like, I don't know. I think that at 8-7, I don't need to go Ohtani. I think I'd rather take a chance on like a Frankie Montas. Now I'm seeing them at similar ownership. That's the only unfortunate part, but I think I just rather attack Texas and use Frankie Montas or even use like an Aaron Nola. Now I understand the weather can play a factor, but I'm just not calculating weather right now. That's something to deal with once we get to like that last hour leading up to lock. So I think that my favorite pitchers right now are probably Nola and Montas, and probably I'd say Eric Lauer as well. It just depends if you have the funds for it, right? 10.1K. JT Hayes talked about it on the last show that I did with him and Hoop. He liked Eric Lauer a lot, thought that spending on him was worth it, thought that he was, not that he was underpriced, but he was the best pitcher on the slate and he was being undervalued, and he's still going to come in at lower ownership. So I'd say my top three pitchers right now are Montas, Nola, and Lauer in that order. Skubal, I don't hate the idea of taking Skubal. The problem I have with him on this slate is I just don't like attacking Cleveland. It's just not a strategy I think has been really that successful this year. So I'm not going to play Scooble. I don't think he's worth it. I'd rather go with the three that I said. Monta's number 1, Nola 2, Lauer 3. And Ohtani's probably in that 4 spot. But again, at high ownership, Ohtani's just someone I typically do not play. So I'm not really looking to load up on him tonight.
Yeah, that makes some sense. I like that. I'm going to go back to Mangone because Luke Roy's 20 in chat said, can't get through on Discord. So I'm assuming he signed up. He or she just signed up recently and is trying to get in Discord. So how can Luke Roy's get in Discord?
All right. So the best thing you can do is there are a bunch of channels, right? So you can see when you're looking at the Discord chat, and I want to go to it myself. I have so many different tabs open because I'm actually in. So there's a bunch of different things. There's a welcome channel. So in the welcome channel, there's one that says how to get started. So you click the how to get started chat. It's under general chats. If you can't see the general chats, there's an arrow next to the general chat, and make sure to click it downward so you can see everything. So it's welcome, how to get started. You click the how to get started channel, you watch the 30 to 90 second video, you follow those steps, it'll let you in. Now, if you do it and it doesn't work, watch the video again. Watch it a second time to make sure, because everyone puts their Discord numbers in there, like the number 658. You don't have to put that in there. So watch it again to make sure it's done right. If you're still having an issue, which sometimes there's just like bugs that make it work, that don't make it work, just feel free to DM me on Discord, and I will get to it after the show. So that's kind of the approach to take. Use that how to get started channel. That should be able to get you in, and it should let you get into the chats.
Cool. And if they couldn't even find out how to get on Discord or stuff in general, if you go to the Run Pure Sports website and go under members, it's on the far right up top. There is something that says Discord chat. So hopefully that helps you out, Luke Roy.
Yeah, and then you click that link, and it should bring you right into the Discord. Like, it should bring you to the app, and then it just kind of makes you start it up, and it should just follow those steps.
Yep, I like it. All right, let's go. I'm going to go back to you, Mangone. We had 8-7 to 10-1. I'm going to say just talk about 8-3 all the way down to 4K in Pickington. I personally like the upper range a lot more. I think a lot of my lineups would just play two of the upper tier guys and not even go to this range too much. Some people in chat are talking about Herman Marquez. I think he is one of the interesting ones for sure, not playing in Coors. People are also talking about Patrick Corbin at 5.9K. I'm not a big Corbin guy, but the projection looks okay. The price is good if you want to pay up for bats. Then the last one, this Connor Pickington guy, he's 4K. He's min price. He looks like he's going to be pitching about 3 to 4 innings, I think. Last start, he struck out 6 against Toronto, 12.65 DK points. If you told me he got 12.65 DK points, I would definitely play him in some lineups to jam in some expensive bats, but don't expect a 6-inning, 8 strikeout performance or something like that. So 8.3K, Martin Perez all the way down. Talk about any guys you have interest in.
Yeah, I like the call with Marquez at 6.2. I like him even on FanDuel at 7.6. Like, if you want to just jam in all the bats, like, listen, the Dodgers are definitely in play today. Dodgers are a team that if you want to jam them all in, I totally understand that. So playing Marquez on FanDuel, I think that's fine. And on DK at 6.2K. Washington is not a team that I am really scared of. So I think you can attack them. If it's between Marquez and it's between Patrick Corbin, give me Marquez every time. I mean, yes, I'm seeing similar projections between them, but I'm also seeing similar ownership. It's not like there's like a wide gap where you're maybe getting like a discount in ownership. And I'm just not a big believer in Patrick Corbin. So I do not think Patrick Corbin is as good of a play as Marquez. I would take him straight up. If anyone ever wanted to wager on it, slide in. I think Marquez over Corbin is definitely the play today. This Pickington guy, my problem with him, yeah, it's a great matchup, right? It's the Tigers, which is kind of nice to have, but it's a lefty. Typically the righties against the Tigers are a little bit better. And on top of that, I just don't think yes, there are some bats you like today, right? Like, you like the Dodgers. So like, in order to get all those big Dodgers bats, like, could you make an argument? Maybe you can dive down to him. Sure. But my problem is I'm getting a pitcher that's limited, and it's not a pitcher that, like, for instance, like the gap between Pickington and Marquez, it's such a small gap on DK where, like, I don't know, $2,000, it's not going to matter that much to me. It feels like the way bats have been going so far this MLB season, you just don't need to jam in all of like the 5K guys. It's not like aggressive pricing where you got some guys at like 6.5 where you need to jam in that must own core spot. Like, I just think it's unnecessary to dive down to the 4K guy and you're limiting your all around upside. Could you get away with it? Like, could it be on the winner? Yeah, I'm sure it could be on the winner, but I think it's better just to kind of live up and probably go to like a Marquez and above. That's kind of the approach I would take so far on this slate.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'm definitely Marquez over Corbin too. I'm not a big Corbin person, and I probably won't get to Pilkington really either. Like if I'm playing 150, maybe mix some in. But like I said, I definitely like the Ohtani at 8-7 and up, and a lot of my exposure will be there. Before I do get to hoop, 360 watch and 100 likes. I haven't asked for it yet. Again, you know I do not like asking too much, but we got to get those likes up. That is a little hurtful right now. Hit that like and that big red subscribe in the bottom right too. I guarantee there's probably over half people watching this that are not subscribed that are watching it. So that big red subscribe button takes 1 second. Click it for us. We always appreciate it. It'll notify when we go live, and we go live for a lot of sports: MMA, NASCAR, showdowns, PGA, you name it. We have it. Tons of content. And then the premium side too. Big T and JSU have been breaking down every single NBA showdown. Always massive prize pools up top. So goes MLB premium show up to lock, and then JSU and Big T hop on right after. Both premium shows. You do have to be a member for that. But Hoop, I'm going to go to you, the 8.3K and below. I want you to also touch on Martin Perez at 8.3K. Some people in chat are talking about him. I think he's interesting too. You pull up that game log. He has been dominant. I believe, who said it in chat? Someone said Richie Smalls. He said Perez since his third start has been one of the best pitchers in baseball. He definitely has been. So I think he's interesting against the Oakland team. And then someone said Daniel Lynch. If we're talking Corbin, we got to talk Daniel Lynch. I'm not going to Lynch, but you can touch on him too. Talk about this range.
Yeah, so I mean, Perez has been pitching well, and he does get a good matchup. I guess I kind of overlooked him; really wasn't on my radar at all.
I did too.
Game log, he's been like phenomenal, and just mowed down Houston and Boston in his last two starts. And Philly before that, Houston again. So he's been pitching against the best offenses and been very productive, and now gets a matchup with Oakland. So whoever posted that in chat, I like that call. I'm going to add
Richie
him.
Smalls. I'm with you. I overlooked it too.
I'm adding him to my player pool. Coming down a little bit, whoever mentioned Lynch, now it's a complete opposite response. I'm definitely not playing Lynch at 6-6. Do agree with you guys' take on Marquez over Corbin. I mean, I'm just never going to play Corbin. I don't care. I'm not playing Patrick Corbin. I think he sucks. Marquez, I will play on the road here against Washington. 6.2K, I think, is a fair price tag for him. And then I think I'm a little higher on Pilkington than you guys are at 4K flat. I looked up the weather here, and I do think the game is safe here in Detroit for pitching, hitting, all that. So I will have some exposure to him. I mean, if you want the Dodgers bats tonight, they're expensive, and they're all expensive. I mean, even a guy like Cody Bellinger is 4.9K. Like, you're not going to be able to get a Dodgers bat most likely for under 4K tonight. So you're paying the premium for the Dodgers. Pilkington makes it possible to get the high end guy. So I am interested in him at 4K flat.
Do you think you need him though? Like, is Marquez enough? I think that's going to be the big debate I think everyone has on this slate is like, do you have to go all the way down to 4K?
Oh, still is 2.2K. If you want a 5-man, I think you really might.
So let's just say you put in Ohtani. Like, Ohtani's the first guy that we're all comfortable with, at 8.7K, and then you put in Pilkington, you're sitting at 4.6. So, if you play those top end Dodgers guys, they're all basically over 5K. So you're going to have, probably 3,500 essentially left per spot. I mean, I don't think you absolutely need them. It's just a difference between getting the premium Dodger stack and getting the, 3 premium guys and 2 cheaper guys, essentially what it looks like.
I just did it. If you plug in Ohtani and Marquez, and then you plug in 1 through 5 on the Dodgers, you cannot make a lineup. You're left with 1,867. Again, that's 1 through 5 and stuff. You're playing the premier bats, but DK did do a good job pricing up the Dodgers, where you do have to do something to get it. So
no, I mean, that's interesting because we've talked about it on shows before in the past, right? Like, if you want to get those premier Dodgers, like, sometimes people just don't do that because they find like a punt option, and like a lot of those teams are going to end up with Pilkington as well, it seems like. So there definitely can be some correlation with like the Dodgers big bats and Pilkington being on the same team. So that's just something that's a good, interesting talking point.
One thing I will say though, it does seem like people for the most part, are hesitant to play like these 4K guys. They always have relatively low ownership, unless it's just like a slam dunk, like the top prospect gets called up and he's 4K. This guy is not going deep into the game. He needs to be super effective. I don't think many people will be comfortable going to him. So it is a very interesting conversation, though, for sure. But yeah, Pilkington, Marquez down here for sure. And then, yeah, I guess, Martin Perez at 8-3. I mean, I didn't realize how well he's been pitching. So I think I will have some of him down here as well.
Yeah, definitely with you on that. I overlooked him, and now he's one of my favorite tournament options, I think, because looks like a lot of people are overlooking him, I think. So, Hoop, I'll go back to you. Give me your top 4 pitchers on the slate today where you'll have the most exposure.
Yeah, I did pull up the Atlanta weather as well when Mangone was breaking everything down. I think it looks okay. I think we're going to be able to play pitchers in Atlanta. So that definitely brings Nola back into the mix for sure. So my top, 2 or 3 pitchers, I'm going to say.
You can go for it.
Yeah, it's going to probably be like Ohtani, Montez, and Nola. I think I have all those guys like pretty similar. Like I feel equally good about all 3 of those guys. So those 1, 2, 3, and honestly, not in any specific order. It'll just depend on like what I have left in terms of salary at pitcher. And then my 4th guy, it's going to be Pilkington. I mean, I'll be fine just punting off a spot for 4K and, getting in some bigger bats.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. When we get to the bats, the Dodgers are the only team with a team total above 5, and they're sitting at like 5.6. Where the next highest is 4.7, 2.46, then you're down in the low 4s. So yeah, Dodgers are definitely the premier spot, and I'm glad DK did it right and priced them way up. Man, go and give me the top 4 pitchers on the slate for you.
Yeah, I'd say for me it's going to be Nola. Well, Montes probably 1. I'm going to go with Montes 1, Nola 2, Lauer 3, and then Ohtani 4. That's kind of the way that I rank them.
I like it. That is pitching on this slate. Actually, I'll touch on FanDuel really quick. The Rays and the Yankees. Nestor Cortez is on the mound. I think he is a solid pitcher. But the price, he's 10.3K, where we have other options that are cheaper that I think are in just a good spot. I don't love picking on Tampa either. Then they got Ryan Yarbrough on the mound for the Rays. I mean, I don't think you got to go to Yarbrough personally. Again, I'm just treating this as this game doesn't exist. I'll go to you first, Mangone. I'm not playing hitters or pitchers. Any thoughts on pitchers in this one?
Are we going game by game? Is that what we just did there?
I'm just talking FanDuel pitchers really quick because they have the first game on the slate that DK doesn't have. Nestor Cortez and Ryan Yarbrough for Tampa and Yankees.
I don't hate the Nestor Cortez idea. I mean, Nestor's been nasty. I mean, it's his nickname, Nasty Nestor. Like, he's been incredible. I mean, I don't really like to target Tampa Bay that much, but like, I wouldn't fault you for it, right? If you're like building out like your MME on FanDuel and you got some exposure to it, like no one's going to have him. He's like going to be like, what, 3% owned? It's just like naturally on FanDuel, a lot of people just gravitate towards like the same pitchers. Like, are you spending 10-3 on Nestor Cortez when he's not on the DK slate, when you can just play 8-9 Aaron Nola or 8-8 Frankie Montes? Probably not. So if you want to get a sprinkle of it, I'm okay with it. I mean, just the upside that he has and the pricing on FanDuel, it doesn't matter as much as DK, it seems, for most slates. So you can easily get in some really good bats. So I'm down with Nestor Cortez if you want to get him on your teams.
Hoop, what are your thoughts for FanDuel? Cortez, Yarbrough?
Definitely no bats here. I mean, I'm not interested in batting a low total sitting at 7. In terms of the pitchers, probably not. Like the price difference between Cortez and then like Montas and Nola, I mean, you're basically saving like $1,500. You can get like a mid-tier bat from a mid-tier bat to a premium. So I'll most likely be off him, but I do think the ownership is probably low. I don't think many people will play him being this expensive.
We should mention Aaron Judge title. Like, if you've been playing Aaron Judge and printing with his home runs every day,
I was gonna go to that after, but yeah,
keep doing it, right? Like keep riding it out. Like, I mean, that's what I typically do. Like, if I hit the hot streak of the home run, and I just keep playing him every day. Like, I just keep riding it out. But like, I haven't played that much Aaron Judge, so like, I'm probably not going to jump on now. And it just doesn't seem like a spot where I need to go there. And I'm excited to do a Yankee stack. It's just not my favorite spot today.
Yeah, we'll never say no if you want to play Aaron Judge for sure. But yes, so Stanton's not in the lineup either. I'm just approaching it as a cross-off game. I'm going to pretend FanDuel has the 9-game slate and locks at 7:05 like DK does. That's the FanDuel game, though. First, do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe for us. 410 watching, 150 likes. I'll set a number in a little bit if the number gets stagnant, but we want to give the plays of the day as always. Do us a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe. It is not very difficult. We always appreciate it. We also have to touch on the members never win segment. It's been a good couple weeks. Starting off with N. Howitt, won 3,000 in MMA. Brittany, 2,500 in MLB. TMR6, 27,000 in NBA and NHL. I won an MMA ticket. Tambo, the big $125,000 in PGA. The Wogue Show, $50,000 in PGA. Big T, $62,000 in MLB. And then the big one, TYA 558, $1 million in PGA. Congrats to all the winners. If you want to be featured on this segment, Members Never Win segment in Discord, there's a channel for it. Drop them in there. You can be on this channel. I know Nadesify had a very good win. Nuggets, our boy, he always stakes people. Good mojo over there. He's sweating. I saw like a $45. He's about to maybe take down 10,000. He has a good sweat in the late PGA Showdown street. So good luck to that Nuggets. And again, if you want to be on this segment, Members Never Win in Discord, and you can be. Baseball Dad, I like that. 405 watching. Let's break the like, the like record, y'all. It's an easy click. Appreciate that, Baseball Dad, helping me do my job. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. Travis Duarte, Sean B, Michael Cox, Butthole Jenkins, Rolo. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's go game by game, though. Starting with the first game on the slate, Colorado Rockies, Washington Nationals, Herman Marquez and Patrick Corbin on the mound. If you look at the totals, both of these teams, 4.3 or 4.3 implied total for the Rockies, 4.4 for the Nationals, just one of the higher ones on this slate. The pitching is definitely better than the hitting in this one. I do not think Patrick Corbin's very good. He's might get some ownership on the slate with this price and his projections high. So I like the Rockies for sure. Hoop, I'll go to you. What are your thoughts for bats in this game?
Yeah, moderate interest in some bats here. I don't necessarily think I'm gonna like full stack these guys like on DraftKings, but I do like some mini stacks. I like some 3-man stacks, especially on the Rocky side. CJ Cron, I think, is a phenomenal play. Even if you're gonna, do a one-off or something like that, I think Cron is a guy that should be at the top of your list for one-offs. Connor Joe, I have some interest in. And then, Daza batting second. So I like that little 3-man stack. I wouldn't play like Blackman or McMahon. I'd focus on the righties here, Crone being my favorite. And then on the national side, definitely have some interest in Marquez, like we talked about the pitcher position. But Juan Soto, I think, is a phenomenal one-off type play. Don't mind like pairing him with, you get a catcher in the 2-hole, this Ruiz guy, who also has some upside. So at 4-2 and 4-7, Ruiz, Soto, and then you could throw someone else in here, maybe like a Josh Bell or something. So like kind of mini stacks here, not all in, moderate interest, like I said, but there is upside. I mean, you got a lot of upside in a guy like CJ Cron. You have a lot of upside, obviously, in a guy like Juan Soto. And I don't think they have much ownership tonight either. So I think those guys are very interesting plays. I like the 3-man stacks on both sides here.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Juan Soto's price. He is the one that probably will have some because he's 4.7K, which that's a misprice. I mean, I think he's a great play. You look right below that, Nelson Cruz, 3.4K for Nelson Cruz. You don't see that very often. Yeah. And I agree with you on the Ruiz. This dude's a stud. I like what a switch hitter. He's got some pop. He's a good hitter. So I think throwing him in the nat stack makes sense too. And I agree with you on Colorado. And Colorado's definitely got to be overlooked. 6-1 for CJ Cron. Everyone's going to play a Dodger if you're going up to that price. And I think he has as much upside as anyone. Connor Joe, I love playing him with you. I think Randall Grichuk down there at 4.2K, Brendan Rodgers, 4.5. They're expensive for sure, but they're guaranteed the 9th inning at bats, and they're expensive. So people aren't going to go to them as much. So I definitely like the Rockies in this spot. Mangone, Nationals, Rockies, what you got for bets?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Just like the Rockies mini stack, I don't mind, but like that's really it. I mean, I guess you could make an argument like Nationals mini stack because like when you put Juan Soto in, you only need is one more, and if it's like Ruiz's catcher, that's fine. But I'm really not trying to load up on this game. I do think that Marquez is a pitcher that I like a little bit, so I'm not as excited about the National side. If I did roster anyone, it may be like a mini stack on DraftKings on the Rockies side, but I'm playing a little more FanDuel today, so I'm going to be doing a lot of 4-4 stacks, and like I don't think he's going to make the cut for my 4-4 stacks today. I just think Rockies Nationals is going to be a game that I personally stay away from and fade.
Makes sense. We're going to go back to you for the next game, Mangone. Let's go with the Philadelphia Phillies, the Atlanta Braves, Actually, no, I got ahead of myself a little bit. The Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers. I got ahead of myself because I'm just Xing off both these teams for bats. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not really excited about this one. I think you can make an argument for like the Guardians against Skubal, because Skubal can get run into trouble at times. But my only problem with it is I would rather do that on a slate where Skubal has a lot more ownership, where if Skubal was like going to be one of those pitchers on this slate that's like 40% owned, I can gain some leverage. I'm not really gaining leverage with this. I don't think the opportunity is going to be worth it. Yes, you will have low ownership on this Guardians team, but I just think they're unnecessary to go to. There's other lower owned stacks that I can take a chance on. So no Guardians for me. You can make an argument on FanDuel specifically. Javier Baez has a very cheap price tag. I mean, he's 2.5K. Really good price tag against a lefty. So he's definitely someone that's in play. Could be on green on the cash chart. I haven't really decided yet, but I do think he's someone that if you want to mix him as a one-off, I don't think it's the worst idea, but not loading up on this game. Definitely looking for some other ones later on.
I say it every show, and I tilt myself in Discord later. You can play Jose Ramirez. He's, again, my favorite DFS player to roster in MLB. I say that, and I'm not going to play him, and I know I'm not, and he's probably going to hit another home run, but he's always a fine one-off, as I always say with the Guardians. Who, Tigers, Guardians, just a cross off and move on, or what?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that draws me in here, I mean, I'm not going to really play the Guardians. I don't have much interest. You can always make the case for Jose Ramirez, like you said. I mean, one of the best hitters in baseball. Totally understand that. The one thing I will say about the Tigers, like if you're going to go with that premium Dodgers stack, you're going to need some cheap bats. You can get the core of this Tigers offense for pretty cheap. Mango mentioned those prices on FanDuel, on DK. Grossman's 3.3, Jonathan Scope is 2.9, Baez is 3.9, Candelario is 2.5K. Spencer Torkelson is 2.3K. So if you're stacking the Dodgers and you need another team, if you're going to do a 5-3, I don't hate going to the Tigers. But I mean, their offense sucks. I mean, it's not a very good offense. You're probably going to have to get lucky. They are going against a young pitcher and then, most likely a bullpen game. So I think you can make the case for the Tigers bats just as cheap lineup fillers, cheap 3-man stack type things, only if you're playing like a premium offense with them.
Yeah, Big T talks about it a lot too. Like you can take zeros in baseball if they're mid-price 2K, and you get the Mookie Betts double bond, you get the Freddie Freeman double bond, all that. You don't care if you get a 0 or 3 or something like that. And man, they are cheap. G Risen's got to be playing Torkelson at 2.3K. He better be if he's been touting this whole time. He's sitting there at 2.3 in the 6 hole. So yeah, that's had to mention that one. But let's get on to the next game. The Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. Two solid pitchers on the mound, Aaron Nola and Kyle Wright. Two good offenses too, though. I mean, they are good pitchers, but we see it all the time. Good offenses can beat good pitching. It looks to be a decent weather or decent hitting weather if the game does play. Hoop, I'll go back to you. Any Braves, any Phillies for you? You get some leverage against Nola, and the Phillies are good offense, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, you got two good offenses going against two good pitchers. The total is, only sitting at 8 here. Each team basically has a team total of 4. I'm not going to come here. I mean, to me, I just don't see the upside. I'm on Nola, assuming this game's good to go. You're not really getting many price breaks. I mean, Bryce Harper is still sitting at like 6K. I guess, Castellano is only 3.8K, somewhat interesting. For me, it's tough to make a case for either of these offenses. I mean, if I was going to play one, it would be the Phillies offense because, like I said, I am interested in Nola. So maybe some Phillies if you want to be contrarian, but I don't think I'm going to be doing it on this slate.
Makes sense. Man, going any Braves or Phillies for you, they both should be low owned.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the argument, like I said before, like, could you gain some leverage with these Braves bats against Nola? Sure, you could, but I just don't think it's a spot where I need to do it on this slate. So not going to play some Braves, and I'm not super excited about the Phillies either. Kyle Wright isn't someone that typically is like going to blow up, and he's also not someone that's going to like just like strike everyone out and just like be an absolute ace and destroy the Phillies. So if you wanted to have like, for instance, like one-offs here and there, let's say you're building like 5-1-1 stacks on DK, or you have like 5-2-1s. I'm not going to exclude these Phillies from my player pool. I'm not going to say no to Nick Castellanos or Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper. But if they fall on my teams and I get like a JT Realmuto as a one-off, yeah, I'm in. I think that's perfectly fine. But that's kind of the approach I'm taking on this slate. If for some reason, like, the projection's pushing too many Phillies onto my teams, let's say I have like 80% Bryce Harper. Well, then I'll just go in there and I'll cap it. I'll maybe cap it at like 30%. I think that's the best way to approach it rather than just Xing these guys from the pool. That way you can kind of control and tame the optimizer a little bit by like making sure that those guys don't jam onto your teams too much.
I like it. Got to look at the likes. We got 440 watching, 177 likes. We still got a couple games, like 6 games to talk about still. I'll set the likes at, I'll say 240 likes. That should be very easy to get. We do want to give away the plays of the day. So 240 likes for the plays of the day. And that big red subscribe button in the bottom right too. We appreciate if you click that as well. Let's go to someone asked in chat, who is pitching for the White Sox? Dallas Keuchel, yes. And then he said Keuchel question mark. Keuchel is pitching for the White Sox, but not at that game yet. We're going over to the Kansas City Royals and the Minnesota Twins. We got Dusty Daniel Lynch taking on Devin Smeltzer. The Twins have one of the highest implied totals on the slate. Brian Buxton has definitely been in a slump, but there's no better spot to get right than against Dusty Lynch. Kyle Garlick in the 3-hole, 2.2K. He's got pop. I think he makes a lot of sense. Hoop, I'll go to you. What you think on Minnesota and the Royals, if you have any interest there?
Yeah, I mean, just the Royals are a team I just don't really play, and it's worked out pretty well. Besides that series in Coors where they put up some runs, but I mean, I don't know. I look at this offense and it sucks.
But if you want a cheap, so would you like the cheap stack of the Tigers more, or a 6 through 8 min price 2K Santana, Manuel Rivera 2-1 third base, then Nicky Lopez second or shortstop 2-3? Which one would you rather?
I'd take the Tigers. I mean, I Scope, Candelario, Torkelson. I'd take those guys. I mean, long term, sense. I mean, they have to be better than the dudes at the bottom of the Royals. I mean, they haven't this season. I mean, they've been bad, but long term, I mean, it's got to be the Tigers. So definitely be going that route. Twins will probably, I'm guessing, be pretty popular tonight just because of the way the stack is constructed. You get a full punt basically batting third in Garlic. You get a catcher in Gary Sanchez batting fourth. And then you get another cheap guy in Ursula batting fifth at 3.2K. So I think the Twins end up being pretty popular tonight. That's fine. I'll definitely be on them. You get another cheap guy at the bottom, Jose Miranda, 2K. You can play him at first base or third base. This guy's one of the top prospects here for the Twins. So definitely some interest there. Buxton, like you said, has been cold, but man, there's no better spot than to get things right against your what do we call him, Dusty Daniel?
Yep, Dusty Daniel Lynch.
Yeah, Dusty Daniel. So yeah, I'm on the Twins here for sure. 1 through 5. Miranda's fine at 7. Those are the guys I'll be looking at, and then the Royals, I'll just continue to be fading the Royals.
Yep, makes some sense. Man, go over to you. Royals, Twins, what you like?
Yeah, so I don't hate the Royals idea. I like it more than the Tigers. I'll at least say that. So me and Hoop disagree on that one, but I'm not dying to play Royals. They're not guys I'm slamming onto my teams. They did have a good series. I think Nazafai had a pretty good night with the Royals against the Arizona not too long ago. The thing I kind of like about if you do take the Royals tonight is Smeltzer, he doesn't strike a lot of guys out. He's just a guy that really does pitch the contact. And on top of that, he's not a guy that walks a ton of people. And because of that, it could just be him being a pitching machine for the night. So that it just requires the Royals to be able to get the job done. That's the question. Can they do that? And at low ownership, I really don't hate it. So I might mix that in with like a Dodger stack. So that's something that I'm definitely thinking about here. Dusty Daniel. So here's the problem. He's going against the Twins, Hoop. And we know the Twins, they are great and underperforming. The question is, will they be high owned, Hoop? This is my question. This is what I want to know, because when the Twins are high owned, we stay away. I think that's the best way to approach them. And when they're not,
I do think they get ownership you got a guy in the 3-hole that's, basically the minimum. You got a catcher. Catcher's very weak tonight. You got a high upside catcher in Sanchez. Buxton, people love. And then you got a shortstop too in Correa. So,
and Miranda's free. He's going to be the most
Miranda's
popular.
Free. Yeah. So a lot of people will come here because they're a very stackable team, I guess, tonight.
Yeah. So like my thought process would be like, if you do play the Twins, be smart about how you roster them. Like probably don't do it with like a Dodger stack. I just don't think it's probably the smartest idea. Cause if you do that, well, then you're probably missing out on Byron Buxton. And if you have a big night, like, hey, if Dusty Daniel is being Dusty, then Byron Buxton's probably smacking one out of there because he's one of the best hitters out there. So yeah, ultimately just be smart and intentional about how you roster your Twins. I think if you are going to play them, just because they're going to be chalky, my lean right now is to currently not have a lot of Twins in my lineups. I haven't played a bunch of them this year, but I will say, Title, like I started looking down the line and saying like, what stacks am I going to actually start talking about that I like? And they're not a lot. So
that's what I'm saying.
I don't want to say I'm out on the Twins for sure yet, but I would like to be out on the Twins. I'm trying to find those like contrarian stacks. One of my like plan of attacks when we get to it is I'm going to play a lot of Dodgers tonight. And I'm just trying to find those low percentage stacks to kind of mix with that. That's kind of my approach on this slate. So I'm trying to find those, Title. And right now the Twins aren't really cutting that. And that's why, again, I don't hate the Royals because I could see Smeltzer throwing some BP out there.
Yeah, I liked when you said the pitching. It'll be a pitching machine out there. Maybe that made me laugh. But yeah, like you said, the more we go down the list in the next game too, stacks are tough to come by today. You're going to need to get pitching right. One of these teams are going to do something. There's 9 games on the slate. One of these teams are going to probably go for 10 plus and you'll need them, but it's not great outside the Dodgers. That is for sure. Milwaukee Brewers, St. Louis Cardinals, Eric Lauer and Adam Wainwright on the mound. Someone asked if you could play Eric Lauer on FanDuel. I mean, yeah, you can play him on both sites, but on FanDuel, he's 10-6. So the same conversation we had on DK about him being the most popular, it's the same thing on FanDuel too. I think you can. I personally will not be doing that. I think there's better options that you can save some money on. And the Cardinals just don't strike out much. So that's that. But we're talking about bats. I don't love really bats in this game. I'll say Tyrone Taylor every single time. He's just a complete stud now. 2.6K. So if you want to play him, sure. But I think you can cross it off. Mangone, you're looking down. Is this one of the games you can stack or is this also a fade?
Yeah, I think we could take a shot at it. The only problem is like, I am definitely not one to target Adam Wainwright. It's not something I typically love to do, but I do think this is a spot we can take advantage of him a little bit just because of the bats that we are getting in our lineups, right? Like Tyrone Taylor, he's been crushing it. Rowdy Tellez, I know Hoop will never say no to Rowdy Tellez. It is Wainwright though. So I understand. Christian Yelich, I think he's in play as well. So I think you can make some nice mini stacks, and on FanDuel specifically, you can make some nice 4-man stacks with this. And I think the prices are pretty good over there as well on those guys. So I think it's like a contrarian option. I think I'm going to go to some Brewers. I get it. Like it's not something that I expect to work out all the time, but I think this is not a bad way to go. Like I said, Yelich, he's 3.7 on FanDuel, but Tellez, he moved up to 3.5. People won't pay that tag. They'll go to those other options. You can get Tyrone Taylor for 2.6 at a pretty good tag. No one's going to be on him. You can get an Omar Narvaez, which he can always get some power and pop. Luis Urias and Wong, they're at the top of the lineup. And they help roster a tough second base position at times. So overall, I think the Brewers are worth taking a shot on at low ownership. So I'm going to take a sprinkle of them, right? I don't need to do a lot to get overweight because no one's attacking Adam Wainwright, and he is going to gain some ownership for sure on this slate.
Yeah, my favorite way to approach the Brewers would be a 3-man mini stack on DK 5 through 7. Tellez at first. I like if you're playing Brewers, you prefer lefties. Tellez has been a stud. He has massive power as we've seen. Tyrone Taylor, like I said, 2.6, dude's a stud. And then Omar Narvaez, that gets you that catcher position too. That's from the left side. So that'd be my favorite way to approach it. But man, if we're recommending a couple people against Wainwright, possibly, that's when you know the slate's a little rough for hitting. Hoop, the Brewers, you've been on them a good amount this year. Are you picking on Wainwright at all? And then talk about the Cardinals.
Yeah, been on them a lot this season, but not tonight. I mean, first off, I don't like taking bats in this ballpark. It just always seems like it's a low scoring games here. You have two, Lauer's been great, obviously really good pitcher. And then Wainwright as well limits the damage. I just don't see the upside here. And yeah, now the problem does come into play where there's not a lot of offenses that stand out. So, for me, I will be off this game. I mean, as much as I love my boy Tellez and these Brewers, it's just not the slate. I don't think for them. So this game is a fade for me almost all around. I mean, the only piece of this game I might have is a little bit of Lauer, but now it is looking like the Detroit game's good to go weather-wise and the Atlanta game as well. So that brings, a few pitchers back in the conversation where I don't necessarily think I need to get to Lauer. So probably a fade here.
Yeah, and if you want the Dodgers, it's really hard to go Lauer in the Dodgers. So definitely makes some sense. And then Steve Anthony said Wong revenge. Man, that's a little Colton Wong revenge action. But that we talk about a lot. Baseball, it definitely means pretty much nothing.
I don't mind it just because second base, right? Like it helps roster a position that like sometimes can be a little painful. I mean, it's not awful today, but I don't hate it if you're doing the stacks. It's that the Brewers are a team that I typically like Urias and Wong. They're towards the top of the line. They kind of just help make things work. So I don't hate it for sure.
And yes, Butthole Jenkins, that's a good call. We've talked about it on the shows a lot. Paul Goldschmidt, he's absolutely on fire right now. Gets the platoon advantage too. You can always play a Paul Goldschmidt as a one-off as well. 450 watching, 201 likes. I set the likes low today at 240. You guys should be able to breeze through that. But yeah, if you guys don't get 240, it'll be easy for me to pull the plays of the day today. So hit that like, hit that subscribe for us. Couple more games to talk about on the slate. Next game, Boston Red Sox, Chicago White Sox, Michael Wacha and Dallas Keuchel on the mound. And you're looking at it, this is one of the better spots to target today. Both teams have a 4.6 applied total. Again, I don't love stacking against Dallas Keuchel. He's a ground ball pitcher, but we're looking at all these teams and these options. Boston has a good lineup. Keuchel's he's not greater by any means. So I think Boston's interesting. And Michael Wacha, he's okay. The White Sox don't have Luis Robert, which is a bump down to the lineup, but I think they're also interesting. You got Pollock in the 3-hole at 3.1K. Gavin Sheets, 3.2K. First and outfield eligible. I think he's fine. You got two guys at the bottom of the order, 3-2, 2-4. I think it's an interesting lineup. I think you can go both ways in this game. Hoop, I'll go to you. What's your thoughts? Red Sox, White Sox? Do you have a preferred team you like more? Talk about it.
Yeah, tons of interest here. I mean, on the Red Sox side, Keuchel can get in these games where he produces a lot of ground balls and it can be frustrating, but he's just not very good. And Boston, I really like their offense tonight. So I'm definitely in on the Red Sox. The nice thing is there are ways to get kind of unique too. If you think this is going to be a popular team, you can go to the bottom of this Red Sox lineup. Our boy Bobby Dahlback, batting 8th. Not many people will be on him. 3.1K. You got a catcher right above him in Vasquez if you want to go that route, and then maybe do a little wraparound. Rafael Devers, lefty. People avoid lefty matchups on a regular basis, and he's super expensive. So love Boston here, and I equally like the White Sox. They roll out a nice lineup here that offers a lot of savings, like Andrew Vaughn batting second. He's 3.8K on DraftKings, first base and outfield eligible. AJ Pollock, 3.1K. Abreu's pretty cheap at 4.2. You got a catcher in Groundell at 4K. And then it gets very interesting with my boy Gavin Sheets batting 6, I think is a phenomenal play tonight. And then Jake Berger as well. He's 4K. Not many people are going to play him down here. I have a lot of interest in Berger. He has some power. So yes, I do think these teams get some ownership because the total sitting at 9, both teams, average pitchers going out there tonight, but a lot of different ways you can get unique, a lot of, lower owned options, I think, towards the bottom of this lineup. I'll be heavily exposed to this game.
Yeah, I think it's a good game stacking game. I like doing a lot of game stack because if you see a team jump on a pitcher, they put up 6. The other team, they know they got to score 7 runs or more if they want to win a game. So I like the idea of game stack. And you can mix and match these guys. These two teams do correspond pretty well with the positions wise, and they are pretty cheap. Jake Berger, he homered yesterday. He's also min price on FanDuel at the Stone Min at 2K. I had him on the cash chart yesterday. I didn't get to him myself, but man, you're playing more on FanDuel today. White Sox, Red Sox, talk about it.
Yeah, the one thing I like, and I believe you mentioned it, but the positions kind of line up pretty well if you do the game stack, right? Because hey, do you really want to roster Christian Vasquez? No, then you can just roster Grandal. The hoop special is to play the Red Sox tonight and then play Bobby Dahlback, right? And then you don't worry about the ownership. No one's playing Bobby Dahlback at his cheap price tag. You don't have to worry about ownership. And when he cranks one out against the lefty, you're feeling mint and feel like you're in a great position to ship a tournament. But if you want to do the full game stack, then you can slide in Jose Abreu. You could slide in Andrew Vaughn. So there's a lot of nice correlation pieces there. And if you need to leave out a big bat, you put in Tim Anderson at 5.3 instead of Xander Bogaerts. That way you can kind of, be able to get in that game stack. So there's definitely ways to stack this thing up. Yasmani Grandal is cheap on FanDuel. I want to call that out. He's in the 5-hole at 2.4K. That's a really nice price tag on him as a salary saver. So the only problem is Michael Wacha is not typically a guy that I like to target. He's just one of those magicians in the MLB that somehow finds a way to get it done, even though the underlying numbers show he's getting absolutely cracked by, these power bats and they're hitting it so fast, but they're just not going out of the park as much. So that's the one concern I have. Dallas Keuchel, he is definitely someone that, man, he is going to blow up here. And I think it's going to be a good spot for these Red Sox. And the one thing I like about the Red Sox is you got power bats like Trevor Story. Had no power all year long, but what did he do? He cranked out 3 home runs in one game. They just have so many guys that can just carry you over the finish line and so much power throughout that lineup. I even mentioned it with Bobby Dahlback at the bottom of the lineup. So lots of ways to stack up the Red Sox. Definitely one of the better stacks here tonight on tonight's slate.
Yeah, I agree. I lean the Red Sox over the White Sox if I have to choose to. I don't love targeting Waka, but I mean, like you said, we're going through all these games, and I like the White Sox a lot more than these other teams. And I do like the idea of game stacking. So I definitely have interest. I do prefer the Red Sox. But you mentioned Trevor Story, and I'm glad you did. He did go 0 for 4 yesterday, but man, before that, he was as white hot as you could be. He had one homer. Then he went 0 for 3, and then homer, 3 homer games. So what is that? 5 home runs in 4 days, 25, 16, 2, 20, and a 64 piece. He had a 12 and a 21 there too. White hot. I think almost everyone at RPS believes in hot streaks in baseball. So definitely like getting Story in my lineups. He is expensive for sure. You have to pay for it, but we always talk about it. He hits a home run. You don't care what the price is. So I do like that call for sure. 221 likes right now. We need 19 more for the plays of the day. We have 2 games left? Yep, 3 games left to talk about. So 19 more likes, 3 games left. Appreciate if you hit it if you do want the plays of the day. Toronto Blue Jays, the Los Angeles Angels, Ryu taking on Ohtani on the mound. Everyone has had some interest in Ohtani, so I don't think we'll really be targeting the Blue Jays. As far as the Angels, I hope Taylor Ward's back in the lineup. They're just so much better with him. He's been one of the best hitters in baseball. Mike Trout coming off a 0 for 4. I believe he had 4 strikeouts last night too. That's baseball for you. Again, you play Giannis, you play LeBron, Jokic, you're not going to get a 20 piece from them. And for DFS points, baseball, doesn't matter who you are. Any hitter can go 0 for 4 with 4 Ks. It's part of the game. So I don't mind going back to the Angels. I think they will be pretty low owned. If Taylor Ward's back in that lineup, it makes it so much better. I think they're going to be pretty low owned, but what are your thoughts on this one, Hoop? If you do play him, you got to add in Brandon Marsh, right?
Always. It's always Brandon Marsh. Always Brandon Marsh day. That is for sure. In terms of the Angels, tough team. I mean, obviously, yeah, Mike Trout is in play. If Ward's in there, definitely interested in him. It falls off pretty quickly. So I think the Angels would be one of those teams where, I'm not full stacking the Angels tonight. You can't play Ohtani at hitter, which is shocking to me that the sites have not figured this out yet. It's just absolutely insane, but, not super excited to full stack here. It'd be smaller stacks like Trout, Ward, Matt Duffy is 2.4K. If he's in the middle of the lineup, you can play him at, second base. Rengifo, if that's how you pronounce it, 2.8K, second base. So it would be 3-man stacks. I would not fully stack the Angels. You can always play Trout as like a one-off if you want. Don't think he'll be super highly owned tonight just because this total is so low. And then, yeah, I'm on Ohtani, not much interest here in the Blue Jays bats, or no interest, I guess I should say, in the Blue Jays bats.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, the Angels are a team that is pretty easy to stack. Rengifo at second base. And then if I am playing the Angels, I probably would throw in Andrew Velazquez if he is in the lineup. We don't have either of these lineups out yet, but he's 2.2K. I'd expect him to be in the 9 hole, and he's at shortstop position. So I'd pretty much full punt shortstop. You get the wraparound, then you can play Ward and Trout and stuff like that. That's how I'd approach the Angels. And yeah, I mean, you're going to be uncomfortable with some of the teams you stack, some of the players you plug in. I'll be fine being uncomfortable with the Mike Trout, a Taylor Ward, and then punting with the Velazquez, maybe add Rengifo or something like that in there. And then someone in chat mentioned, is DC behind the paywall now? Yes, DC will be on the Up to Lock shows on the premium side every single day going forward. So going to have to pay for the pitching takes that DC gives, and they are definitely worth it. That's for sure. Man, going to you. Angels, any interest in them? And I assume no Blue Jays for you.
Yeah, I'm not excited about the Blue Jays here. I'm going to convince Hoop to stack up the Angels 5-man. So Hoop, be listening here. Don't ignore. Here's the sales.
I'm always open for some some picks here. So let's hear it.
So Hoop, let's pull up the schedule, right? The Hyun Jin Ryu schedule. Who has he pitched against? Okay, let's look, because you love looking at the schedule. He went against Texas, right? Gave up 6 runs, 5 hits, and then Oakland 5 runs and 6 hits, 4 innings. Then he went to the DL or the IL, whatever they call it, right? And that's against Oakland and Texas. They beat him up early in the season. He comes back against Tampa Bay, goes 4.2 innings, gives up 4 hits, gives up a home run. It's the first start back. He probably gave up that quick home run, and they pulled the plug real quick, right? They understood this is Tampa. We don't want to mess around. Then he goes up against Cincinnati. And he goes out there and he gives up 0 earned runs, but gives up 6 hits in 6 innings. But this is Cincinnati. The blow-up spot's coming soon. He's played some crap teams. Let's be real. The Angels are going to smash him tonight. I mean, you get these hitters that are, who do we got? The righties. Let's just name them off. Taylor Ward in that lineup, Mike Trout. You get Ohtani. Obviously, you can't get him tonight, but that's okay. And people might go away from it then. You get a big platoon play and Matt Duffy, who could possibly be in the lineup. Maybe you throw in Brandon Marks. You throw in the catcher Max Stassi. There's definitely options here. Anthony Rendon. So people are going to stack up the Dodgers for expensive price tags, and they're not going to stack up the Angels. So while everyone's on one Los Angeles team, let's pivot over to the other and kind of take all the money.
I'm in. I like it. I
like it too.
Fully stacking the Angels. I like the call. I'm always good to, find some weaknesses in the schedule. And Ryu, could be a little fraudulent. So I'm in.
Yeah, I like the Angels before, man. Going to even make some better points. So definitely like it. And like I mentioned, they are an easy team to stack because Rendon's at third, Rengifo's at second, Velasquez, the full punts down there at shortstop. Max Stassi, you'd expect him in the lineup. He's not too expensive. If I'm playing the Angels, I am going to play Taylor Ward and Mike Trout. There's no doubt about that. You do have to pay for them. They're going to be lower owned because of it, but I can't leave off the two best hitters. Obviously, Ohtani's not counting right now. I cannot leave them off. But outside of that, there is a lot of ways to go. Glad you like it, man, going. And we got Hoop on board a little bit too. So things you do love to see. We got 2 games left on the slate. We need 5 more likes. Make a push for us, please. That's the last time I'll ask. You guys are going to get it. We're going to get you the plays of the day, but we appreciate if you make a push and hit that subscribe button. Second last game on the slate, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Mitch White taking on Humberto Castellanos. We do not have this Dodgers lineup out yet. It's going to be good as it always is. They are expensive though, man. What are your thoughts on the Dodgers? How would you approach the Dodgers? And then any Diamondbacks for you?
Yeah, I definitely like the Dodgers here. One way to probably make like the Dodgers stack unique is maybe doing the game stack, right? Like sometimes just the games, like they just explode and go off. The roof will be closed for this game. I did pull up the schedule for the roof in Arizona. It will be open tomorrow and then closed on Saturday and Sunday. So no roof open, which is unfortunate, but Dodgers can definitely swing a hot stick. You get 9 at-bats from them too because they're on the road, which is something that I like. So, of course, like the Dodgers today. But, again, you have to be intentional with how you roster them. You don't want to just play them with all of the chalk. You want to at least be smart about it. So, maybe people won't play some Diamondbacks ran back. So, like, playing like a Pavin Smith, I think he's a pretty good option here on the Diamondbacks that you can go to. David Peralta, Jake McCarthy, that's a nice little mini stack that you can go with those outfielders and then load up on all those Dodgers positions players. So I'm not saying it's like the perfect way to approach it. You can mix and match guys throughout your lineups in so many different ways. Dalton Varsho is probably not a guy I want to leave off the Diamondback stack. I know he's expensive. That's the one problem you're going to have, but he's been absolutely crushing it. Swinging a hot stick. So someone I'd want to make sure to get into my lineup. So overall, I kind of like the Diamondbacks as like a nice mini stack to pair up with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think the Diamondbacks are also interesting. I'm glad you said that about Varsho because I was going to as well. He is expensive for sure. You'd look at other people that are 5.2K or in that range and be like, man, I'd rather like Juan Soto, 500 less, all that stuff. But if I'm playing the Diamondbacks, Varsho's definitely my lineup. Complete stud at the catcher position, has double dong upside. So definitely like that. And then I will say Alek Thomas, he was one of my plays of the day a couple nights ago. Chat was saying he's a big time prospect. He's in the 8 hole. He's only 3K, but maybe a little Alek Thomas, Dalton Varsho mini stack and just leave it at there. A little 8-1. I think that's interesting. I don't mind mind the Diamondbacks when everyone goes to the Dodgers in this game as well. Dodgers, Diamondbacks. You talked about maybe playing the 4K pitch or something so you can get these Dodgers. Talk about this game.
Yeah, I don't hate that Diamondbacks call just to start. I mean, I think it's an interesting spot here. No one's really going to be on the Diamondbacks. I mean, their team total is around 4, which isn't a massive number, but on this slate, I mean, we don't have many offenses to go to. And, I don't think anyone's really going to be paying these price tags for the Diamondbacks. I think Diamondbacks are very interesting, very sneaky. Would not be surprised to see some Diamondbacks on the winner tonight. And then the Dodgers, the clear top offense on the slate. The reason I like the Dodgers so much, slate in and slate out is just how many different ways you can stack this team up, go to the bottom with guys like Chris Taylor, Bellinger, Gavin Lux. Obviously you got the studs at the top and Betts, Freeman, Turner, Will Smith is, a big time catcher, Max Muncy, tough start to the season, super expensive at 5.6K. I just don't think many people will play him. I think he's the guy that gets left off. Dodgers are just such an easy team to play for fantasy because, guys at every position tonight, somewhat difficult because of the price tags. They got the prices way up, but we have ways to get there. We have other other teams that are cheap that we can pair them with. So yeah, I mean, Dodgers are phenomenal play tonight. They're going to be highly owned, get unique when you stack them, and then moderate interest here in the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I mean, you'd rather the Dodgers be a really expensive though, so they're not 40% owned, and then you feel like they're unplayable. So
Correct.
Glad the Dodgers or glad DK did do that. And Michael Koss said Ward is hurt, isn't he? Yeah, he has been hurt. They've said like he's been maybe in the lineup questionable, if you want to use that term for MLB's sakes, but he's been day to day. Recently, he maybe was supposed to return yesterday. People were thinking he wasn't. Today, he's in some projected lineups. People think he's going to return. We're going to wait for that lineup. I would bump down the Angels if they don't have Taylor Ward personally. He's just a complete stud. The lineup's way better with him, but it's expected to be in the lineup right now. We will see, though. He's not for sure in. Last game on the slate. You guys did get those likes for us. We appreciate it. Texas Rangers, Oakland Athletics, Martin Perez, and Frankie Montas on the mound. Cross-off game for me. Mangone, what is it for you?
Yeah, it's a 6.5 total, right? It's the lowest total on the entire slate. If this thing beats me, it beats me. If I need a low ownership stack, I can find one somewhere else. It doesn't have to be here from the 6.5 total. The only argument you can make is, maybe you're leveraging off Frankie Montas, but do you want to do that with Texas? I'm good. It just doesn't seem like the right spot to do it. So I'm not interested. This is a fade for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, I just see no reason to go here. I mean, it's a bad hitting environment to, I guess, really good pitchers now that we've realized how well Perez has been pitching. So 6.5 total. I don't see any reason to come here whatsoever.
That is all 9 games on the slate. You guys did get the likes for us. You did hopefully hit that subscribe button. So we're going to go stacks and we're getting the plays of the day. Then we'll get out of here for the premium show that'll be coming up shortly. Hoop, go to you. Give me your top 3 stacks of the slate.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers are going to be one. I really like the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox are a good stack. Get unique though within that stack. And then the last one, I'm gonna go my cheap Tigers as this 3-man stack. I think the Tigers finally get it done. I think you can pair these guys up with some of these bigger high-end teams like the Dodgers and get away with it. So Tigers 3-man.
I like it, man. Going top 3 stacks.
Yeah, my top 2 stacks, I'd say, are Dodgers and Red Sox. Kind of agree with Hoop. And then my number 3 is going to be the Angels. I really like them on this slate. And I'll add a 4th in there just because me and Hoop kind of gave the same 2 at the top. The Diamondbacks, I'll throw them in there as well. So the 2, I guess, sort of contrarian ones that I'm looking at are Angels and Diamondbacks. And the 2 chalkier ones are the Red Sox and the Dodgers.
I like it. We're going to get to the plays of the day. Eric Lynn said quick pitching recap. The show's almost going to be over. Then you can go rewind to the start, put on 1.5x. It shouldn't take too long. That'll be the easiest route than saying it all over again. So rewind. You should be able to find it. Eric Lynn, we broke it down pretty good, I think. Time for the plays of the day, starting with myself with the SO play of the day. I'm going to go with, I like spending up for pitcher mainly. There are a lot of expensive bats, so I want to give someone kind of cheaper. I'm going right back to the well with Alek Thomas. He's in the 8 hole. He's 3K. People aren't going to play him. And I do like the Arizona a little bit. I like that mini stack. I think you can go Alek Thomas and Dalton Varsho as a spend up. D-backs are going to be really low owned. You might get 1% Alek Thomas. If I liked him before, he's a good prospect. He's got some pop. He's got some upside. Give me that at 3K. Someone's going to be 1% owned. So Alek Thomas as the SO play of the day. Man, go and head over to you. Still did not know your play of the day name, but give me a winner.
It's the Sweet Travis.
Oh, yeah. That's my bad. Sweet Travis play of the day. Who do you got?
You clearly didn't watch me and JT on Wednesday.
I will say I did not, but I haven't done a show with you for a baseball or a play of the day show in a while, it feels. So I did not. I will not lie. Sweet Travis play of the day. Who do you got?
Hey, you missed out. We had JT live from Florida, in the nice sun. I actually, hashtag how rich JT Hayes. I said, JT, he had a great call with the Giants on the earlier slate. I said, JT, what's the stack on the main slate? Hit me with the winner. He goes, I'm watching day baseball and drinking at the Ritz-Carlton Pool Hotel. I'm not playing. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to withdraw JT because I wanted your winners. That's why I signed up. So hashtag how rich for old JT Hayes at the Ritz-Carlton Pool. But my play of the day is going to be Anthony Rendon. He goes yard. He takes one out on Ryu. So give me that Angel stack. Like it a lot. And Rendon's going to be my play of the day.
I like it. Hoop, the rich parents play of the day. Cap it off for us.
Yeah, rich parents play of the day. We're going to the Red Sox. We're going to a guy that Mangone kind of served up for me. He knows my boy, Bobby Dahlback, batting 8th. Cheap, 3.1K, a way to get unique within a Boston stack. Bobby Dahlback's going yard for us tonight. He treated me really well last season. I played a ton of Dahlback. Dahlback was hitting bombs. He does it tonight, gets the party started at 3.1K.
I love it. Those are the 3 plays of the day. We have DC coming up on the Up to Lock show, I believe Holden. And I'm not sure the other one. I'm going to be surprised to see who it's going to be. So make sure to check that out. And then after that, JSU BigT breaking down game 5 of the NBA playoffs, the Mavericks and the Warriors. I'm hoping the Mavericks can pull it off. And we talked about it a little on the morning show. If you do want to get a little preview of Mangone and my thoughts on the showdown and how the game goes, check out the Mangone and Friends show Monday through Friday. Mangone does it at 11 a.m. Eastern, does a very good job and brings on a guest. So we talked a little of that. We talked a little MMA. That's going to do it for us, though. We appreciate you all hanging out with us. Hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe button. We always appreciate it. PGA 50 is the promo code. Gets you 50% off. And I'm not sure how long it's going to be up. So head over on Pure Sports, check it out, and make sure to get in the Discord as always. But that's going to do it for us. For Hoop, Mangone, Simon Behind the Sticks. I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.